All right, we're back here on the 1968 Ambassador, and I wanted to touch on one more soap testing technique, and that's to use the suction cup. You can get these on Amazon. They're used for removing iPad screens and other electronics repairs, but what they're really great for is diagnosing leaky rivets. And the way that you do that is you take your soap right here and you spray it on your rivet. And that's about a tablespoon of soap to a bottle of water. So really soapy water. You just don't want to make it not soapy enough. You put that guy on there. If it locks up nice and tight, then you know you got a good rivet because that's in a negative pressure, it's in a vacuum, and it's still not leaking. If it falls off immediately and you see bubbles form around the edges of the rivet, then that means that it's leaky, and that it should be replaced or at least sealed. Probably from the backside would be the preferable way to do that, using some kind of rubber, like a spray-on rubber. There's a couple of different brands of that. There's, Leak Stop and all these other spray-on rubbers, but they're essentially all the same. You just kind of clean the surface on the backside and then spray it on. And then if you do drill it out and replace it, then you can quickly test it to see if it's proper. You can also drive it a little bit more. The reason these leak is because these are the rivets that connect the body shell to the frame member on the inside, the arch that is the frame member. And as this thing vibrates and it expands and contracts as it heats and cools, these see a lot of point pressure, and so they see more than, say, on a seam where you got one every inch. These are spaced out, like you can see it here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's not a whole lot of them, so they see a lot more loading, and so they over time will stretch and leak, and that are definitely a place where water can come in. And you may get a soap bubble or two off of one and then may get it to eventually fall off, but those probably aren't leaky. The ones that that the suction cup falls off of immediately, those are the ones that need to be replaced. I guess that's about it. This is a great technique. Make sure that you have, it's easy to get a false positive where you think it fell off, but you actually just didn't get a proper seal. So do it several times. Look for soap bubbles. Make sure and check yourself to make sure you're not getting a false positive. Like, make sure you get 3 or 4 positive tests where it doesn't lock and you got a good seal. It's a little bit harder on the curves. As it curves, it's harder to get a good seal. So that can be an issue where you think it's a bad rivet, but really you're not getting a good lock up on the surface. So give it a try. It's pretty fun and easy. You can do it on your trailer that you have right now without having to do anything. You just put this thing on there and see if it's leaky or not. And then what I do is I have a Sharpie usually, wipe it off, circle it with a Sharpie, then we come back, we remove those rivets, and that's it. So anyway, thank you. Bye.